Hi guys, welcome back to Soul Gardens. It's July 13th and we're having a new moon in Cancer. So check your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, the main ones. So this moon might affect you more, you know what I mean? It's, from my understanding, it's about, planting seeds for growth. What you want to see in your life, what you want it to become, your wishes, your dreams, your manifestations, your intentions. This is what the new moon traditionally is for. And don't forget, we're still on Mercury. Mercury is still in retrograde, so, it's supposed to be a good, reflective retrograde, from my understanding, though. Kind of healing, revisiting things from our past that we thought maybe we healed and took a look at, but came back for us to get a little deeper view, maybe. Which ties in kind of neatly with the new moon in Cancer, because Cancer is all about the water, the depths, the feelings. Excuse me. So, in your life, get some water. I actually made lemon water in this. The kids had soda, but it's convenient to fill lemon and lime water in. Excuse me. Anyway, what in your life makes you feel good versus what doesn't? People, places, things. I know there are certain things people say, well, my family's my family. My spouse is my spouse. My kids are my kids. My job's my job. Friends are my friends. I've known them for all my life. I made vows. There's all sorts of, this is what I went to school for. I'm still paying off the loans. Even thought patterns. What no longer resonates with your thoughts. Like, do you want to change the way you think about yourself? Did the retrograde, or is the retrograde, bringing back your own personal issues and how you see yourself? What you think and feel about yourself? Or what others told you what to think about yourself and who you are that may no longer resonate with you? I was listening to another tarot reader, and they were talking about how we have social media's lists of people, friends, whatever. We have coworkers. All sorts of energies, noise invading us constantly. And at the end of the day, out of all of that swirling around in your body, because you feel it, on your heart, on your mind, maybe we should start on this new moon evaluating what's draining us and not filling us up and making us feel energized. Because, when you really love something, you're passionate and care about things, even if they're difficult, right? There's still a drive. There's still something inside you that feels alive, even if it's difficult or challenging or confusing or whatever. But your soul knows it wants it. And then there's things that we still hang on to that aren't filling us at all. Just taking up space in our hearts, our minds, our energy, our homes. Maybe you just need to clean out your closet, clean out that basement. Objects carry energy. Routines can sometimes get mundane, right? Maybe taking a different way home for a change, or changing what you eat, or where you sit to drink your coffee in the morning, or, you know what I mean? Just because we always did something a certain way doesn't mean we have to always do it that way. Just because somebody told us we had to do it that way doesn't mean we had to do it that way. Some families are more like cults than they are families. Religion, cultures. Sometimes they're really oppressive on our autonomy and our free will and our creativity and our soul's true purpose. It's embedded or ingrained in us from childhood how we're supposed to be and how things are supposed to be. Who says? Maybe that works for you, or maybe it really never did work for you and you just went along with it. I don't know about you. I'm tired of living my life based within the bounds of fear. Fear of what will people think? What will they say? What will they do? What are the repercussions? What would this cost me? What will happen if I move right? What will happen if I move left? I got hurt before. I got betrayed before. I failed before. People don't think I can do it. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a male. I'm not white. There's all sorts of things in here and in here that hold us back from doing and becoming the things that really resonate with us. You don't have to know how right now, but on the new moon, just set the intention. Sit down, take 10 minutes for yourself, bugs, and really think about, what do you want? What do you want in a friendship? And then go through and think to yourself, of the people that you call friends, do they line up with what you want in a friendship? If not, then why do you have them as friends? Nostalgia, obligation. There's all sorts of reasons, I guess. But even family members, sorry, not sorry. If they hurt you, if they drain you, if they're not reciprocating, if they don't live in ways that resonate with you anymore, why are you spending so much time with them? Just because they're blood. This is flesh and bone. We're souls having a human experience. But ultimately, we're here to elevate our souls and to grow and learn. And sometimes part of the lesson is knowing when enough's enough and knowing when it's time to go and leave people, places, and things behind that aren't helping us grow. I'm not saying you have to be an asshole and not talk to them ever. I'm just saying maybe it's time to remove yourself from the day-to-day or the week-to-week, or, you know what I mean? Distance between yous, maybe. What you think about, you bring about. You hang out in the dumpster long enough, you come out smelling funny. Okay, the sun's changing and it's weird. Block. Anyway, I'm not a pro. It's very hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I've had to walk away from a lot of people. And I've had a lot of people walk away from me because I changed. And they didn't like it. Where'd the old you go? Who are you? This person doesn't go out and do this like they used to anymore. This person sets this boundary now. This person reads about this and studies that spiritual thing or YouTube thing, or it's very difficult when you grow up in certain circles, friends and family, society, culture, when they use certain slang terms and words that your elevated soul finds humiliating and degrading, even if it's a joke, you know what I mean? And every time you hear it, it hits you right in the heart. And you feel like something rise up inside you, that lion that wants to defend the integrity of the implied derogatory slang. So you do, because you feel it's right for you, because it's something you believe in. And you're careful to do it in a way that's not confrontational, but helps people rethink how they speak. But after a while, it gets really exhausting. As healers, star seeds, light workers, whatever you want to call yourself, just a kind human being, we're meant to help each other and spread love and teach and be taught. We are the student and the teachers simultaneously, right? Sometimes we're stuck in cycles and patterns in ourselves and with other people. Nothing changes. And nothing changes if nothing changes. And if they're not going to change, you have to, right? you want to keep arguing or correcting or elevating people that don't want to be elevated? Black fly, don't you dare bite me. I got so many black fly bites, and I'm allergic to black fly bites. They swell up like you wouldn't believe. Anyway. You can plant seeds because you feel it's the right thing to do. But sometimes you got to know when to walk away and let them in the God universe water it and protect it, and nurture it, and grow it. Your job was to plant it and move along. Sometimes we've said all we can say. We've done all we can do. Again, not saying be mean or rude or hurtful purposely, you know. Sometimes that's how we get out, right, of situations. We're triggered. And there's a confrontation. There's hurt feelings. Sometimes that anger is what gives us the motivation to stand up for ourselves and finally do what we needed to do that we were afraid to do. Because you can love people and still not want to be around them. It's a fact. You can. You can miss people out of the comfort or the memories or familiar. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that today. The nostalgia. But you know, what somebody did for you a couple times versus the, what's the word? Not slander. I don't know, the grievances that they caused against you, you know, the pain they caused, the complications, the problems. Sometimes the little good things that they've done don't outweigh the damage they've done. And we stay within their energy and let them stay within ours out of some deranged idea of obligation and some type of emotional bond. But we've all had those bonds throughout our lives, especially going to school. All those people that we thought we'd talk to forever. How many do you still talk to? Maybe, if you're lucky, a few, you know. But at the time, they were your ride or dies. But you grow and you changed, and life goes on, and you move on to other things. And we can do that as teenagers. Why can't we do that as adults? Why do we think when we're adults we're stuck with what and who we have? Why are we stuck with how we think? Why are we stuck in patterns and cycles that no longer serve us? It is a fact that you can teach an old dog new tricks. It is also a fact that people can change. They just usually choose not to because it takes work. And it's easier to just stay the same and complain about it. And make excuses why we can't do better. We are all perfectly imperfect. For sure. We are who we are. And we all deserve unconditional love. I'm not saying not to love anybody for their imperfections. I'm saying if they're not elevating you and they're hurting you and they're holding you back, you gotta love yourself first. You gotta take the time to get to know you. What does your heart want? What does your soul want? What do you believe? What don't you believe? What are your code of ethics? And are they even your code? Or were they handed down to you and you just followed along? Some of us, we get lonely sometimes because people that we used to surround ourselves with are all gone. The parties are gone. The children grew up. The marriage ended. The elders passed away. The get-togethers. There's all sorts of things where time seems to stop and slow down and slows down and stops. It starts to pick up again, slow down, stops. And you find yourself more and more feeling alone for some of us who are in a spiritual path. So it's very important to be open to the universe bringing in our people, our soul tribe, so we don't feel alone. But until that happens, we kind of feel like we're wandering the desert and holding down the fort by ourselves. The work environments, people don't get you. And really, for the most part, do you really take the time for them to get to know you? Maybe if the vibe is right. But if you're an energy reader, frequency reader, most of the time you're just turned off by it and you don't even want to. You might, fish around to see if your energy will resonate with theirs on the same level. And when you realize it doesn't, you might try to keep the small talk up. But it gets exhausting, doesn't it? I like to engage in conversation with everybody because I never know why God put them in front of me. And usually pretty quickly, I find out. Usually they share something with me. Most of the time they don't even plan on sharing with me. I don't know why I'm telling you this. That's what I hear. It's because your higher self or your angels and spirit guides said you need to talk to her. And she needs to talk to you. So for those brief moments, the walls come down. And we're not talking through masks, we're talking through souls. That's what I live for. I love that. And I try to do that throughout my day. Live without a mask on. And kind of get you loved or hated. When you're in certain environments, around certain people and places, there's certain personas. We're all actors, right? In this game of life, we play our parts. But the more authentic you get, the more effort it takes to pretend anymore. It's draining. It's exhausting. And you pretty much would rather just sit by yourself than have to explain yourself to people. How many people have you known all your life that don't know you at all? I'm not talking about what you did as a kid or, what you did in high school. The pranks you pulled, the shit you got into, I was married at 19 blah 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 and had 2 point whatever children and I worked at this. I'm not talking about, the surface level shit. How many people really know your deepest thoughts, fears, dreams? How many people take the time to bother to ask? I'm sure you as a healer, a light worker, whatever, compassionate, empathetic human being, you try to touch on that in your human connections because those are the things that matter. And you try to do that for others. Because a lot of times you find when you do open that door for them on that level, there's a bunch of stuff that they were hiding in there, just waiting to get out. And God just put you in that place to open the door for them so they can finish the healing on their own. You had to be the catalyst. Sometimes being the catalyst isn't fun. Sometimes when we trigger people into healing and reflection and ego death, maybe even what they say, dark night of the soul. Sometimes most of the time, you end up being the target of their pain, their anger, their confusion, all the emotions that they suppressed. So be aware of that and don't take it personal. It's not about you. You just trigger the things in them that they need to heal. And for some strange reason, when you bond with people, really bond with people, You're not only the person they go to for help or to be seen, you're also the person they go to when they're angry. And sometimes they're feeling things that they don't know why they're feeling them. They're just being reactionary. And you're the target. Why? Maybe because subconsciously they're angry at you for bringing it up, even though you didn't bring it up, but you did. Mirroring, triggering. But God, Source, Universe said, hey, time to be triggered, buddy. Time to heal that wound, honey. And you can either choose to elevate it or repress it. Heal it and feel it, or stuff it back down again and run from yourself. Some people have been running from themselves their entire lives, and they don't even know why. They don't even know why what they're running from. I'm running from the controllingness of my mother. I'm running from the inconsistent emotional support from my mother. One minute she's cold, the next minute she's smothering me and demanding things of me and depending on me, and the next minute she's ignoring me when I'm hurt and not taking care of my needs, and I feel like I'm more responsible for the parent than I'm the child. Or my father for getting physical, even though it's part of the cycle of the generational curses that you gotta break. Their family put their hands on them to correct them, and before and before and before. And then, it's just a cycle, and that creates resentments. And then you think you should do it to your kids. Why? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, the rod could also be seen as the Word of God. Look that up. Teaching each other how to be kind, gentle, patient, doing things with integrity. There's a way to correct people without attacking their integrity, their essence. Some people hurt children so bad, and they call it correction. You weren't correcting them. You were angry that they did something that kids always do, and you feel justified taking your impulsive anger out on a young child, sometimes viciously and brutally, for your own sadistic relief, for your own issues, and you call it correction and discipline, when you were just being mean and abusive. Just saying, take it how it resonates. And then we're supposed to grow up and love these people. And you've never gotten an apology for it, because it's too bad. That's what you do. Nah. We've all made mistakes. We need to own up to them. And sometimes we don't even know we made a mistake. And we have to be humble enough to receive it when we're told we did. And if you don't think you made a mistake, somebody else is telling you you did, how about you just pause and try to put yourself in their shoes? Maybe from their perspective, you did. People have different love languages, different traditions, different ways of thinking. But I don't care where you came from. We all know what being a jerk is. Come on. Being cruel is. Being selfish is. Being arrogant. Being a liar. Sometimes, though, I will say this, and I've done it. I admit it. I, as a whole, am not a liar. Because sometimes people don't speak their authentic truth all the way out of fear. Fear of repercussions, fear of all the other stuff that would have to be exposed or said if they were forthright. I tend to feel, for the most part, withholding information, even if not asked, is kind of the same as lying when you know it's relevant to the situation or conversation. To omit things, are you omitting it for their benefit? Your benefit? What's your intention? Is it just fear? Are you doing it because you have to protect somebody else? You know, it was in confidence, somebody else, so you can't. I understand there's gray areas to a point. But, as the sun's moving, a lot of times, people just don't want to take accountability for their actions. Their ego gets in the way. They get defensive. They go silent. There's a difference between giving someone the silent treatment to punish them versus giving someone the silent treatment out of self-protection. Because silent treatment can be used, and I'm sure I've done it inadvertently myself. I know I have. Where you do the silent treatment, kind of like in the mindset of punishment. Well, I didn't talk to you then. And that makes people feel just as bad as getting yelled and screamed at, verbally abused. So I've tried to be more mindful of that. But that was, some people do the silent treatment because that's their only way they knew how to defend themselves in a home where they had no voice. They weren't going to be heard anyway, or they'll be beaten or punished, or, things broken, or just terrible repercussions for voicing your opinion. So when you're being treated poorly, you just go silent. So it's not necessarily out of a punishment for the person who's hurting you. It's more of a protection mechanism when some people go silent. And then when they feel safe and strong again to come out of their shell, they might talk to you again. Or they do some self-reflection too and if you're in a safe space to do those things. Come back out. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Some people just know you and get you. They see it in your eyes. They see it in your heart. Your micro expressions. You know they're sorry. They know you're sorry. Doesn't mean, though, that we sweep the issues under the rug. Some you can let go. Who ate the last ice cream, you jerk? Oh, sorry. Or, the face of, maybe I did, Might be mad about it for a little bit. But, you get over it. If there's some issues, they'll just repeat. They won't get healed. They won't get treated in a different way. And you won't grow if they're not discussed. And some things, you may never agree on with the other person. But maybe you could meet in the middle of at least respect for mutual understanding. And sometimes when you do that, there's big issues, like core ethical and moral issues that for some people with friendships, job environments, relationships, marriages, romantic, whatever, friendships, that your core beliefs and your core values are just so far off that sometimes it's better to love them from a distance. Because you're not going to be aligned. You can't make them aligned when they're not. Nothing to say they won't be aligned someday. But maybe they won't. Do you want to constantly have to argue? Defend yourself? You constantly want to make somebody else feel like they have to argue and defend themselves? When it stops feeling good all the time and your body feels it and it's tension, you don't feel at peace, you feel anxious. I'm eating a Skittle. Your body knows before you even know. There's signals when you're in certain people's energy. Some people, you have anxious energy. Maybe a little fear. But it's not a negative. It's because you're excited. And you're not quite sure of yourself. Or you're afraid you'll say or do the wrong thing. Sometimes, with being silent as well, sometimes people are silent and push other people away because they don't have a good sense of self-worth. They think that they're not good people. And they push you away to protect you. They think they're doing a good thing. Their heart might totally be in love with you. They want you around all the time. But they don't know how long that they can behave in their mind. Wait, my shadow's going to come out. And you just run anyway. And then I'll have my abandonment wound triggered. And I'll hurt a person I love. So why don't I just bail now and save us all the grief? And sabotage it before it gets a chance to even begin. Overthinking, analysis, paralysis. Instead of, hey, I have shadows. I want to be better, though. You have shadows. You want to be better. How about we help each other? And we make a commitment to each other to help each other grow. Because we unconditionally love each other through those shadows. And we accept you unconditionally, but we don't have to accept the behaviors unconditionally, right? We don't have to have people in our energy that aren't willing to work on things that hurt people. Hurt people sometimes hurt people. And sometimes hurt people go way out of their way to avoid hurting people because they know what it feels like to be hurt. And sometimes we mush them all together and we're all of them at once. So, on this new moon, what seeds do you want to plant tonight? What sets your heart on fire? What are you afraid of, but you want so badly? But you just don't know how it would work. So much would have to change. And what if this happens? And what if that happens? Who cares? If you want it that badly, there's a reason. All you have to do is plant the seed, set the intention. Sit there and think about what kind of love do you want in your life? What kind of life do you want to live? And I don't mean just, I want, a Lincoln, I want a Maserati, I want a new Harley. I'm not talking material shit. We all need abundance, material things. Money is a frequency, it's an energy. We need it if we use it and conduct it properly. Money isn't the root of all evil, love of money is. Okay. But if all you do is work to avoid your problems, or you think you need more stuff, and you're not good enough unless you have I can't bring anybody into my life because I have too many financial burdens, or I'm not set yet. And some people push people away because they don't feel like they're ready financially. They don't want to bring somebody new into instability and chaos. And that's cool and all, and respectable. And they should handle some of their shit the best they can, of course. But most of the time, that person that you're pushing away, that you think you're protecting, would have stood by you, rolled their sleeves up and helped. See, things are always better with twos. It takes two for balance, it takes two for creation, three with the divine. It's good to have another trusting, worthy, like-minded individual to help point out other ideas and perspectives. It's good to have a teammate. Teammates can be scary, right? Vulnerability is scary. I had a teammate once, and then they stabbed me in the back. Took all my money, took my assets, took everything I worked for, created stress, called the cops. Yeah, whatever it is for you. Took a baseball bat to my truck. Emotionally abusive, financially abusive, sexually abusive. The list goes on and on. Why would I ever put myself in that situation again? My question is, why would you let those people that hurt you dictate the rest of your life? They hurt you, they made you miserable. So you give them power over you to your grave? No. The best revenge is happiness. The best revenge is thriving. The best revenge is becoming the highest and best form of yourself and finding a partner that wants to do the same. That's for those looking for love deep down that want it but are afraid. Some people are fine with their hobbies and their friends, and they see no need for a companion or intimate partnership. But they still need human connection. You know, I mean, we're here to connect. We're here to experience. We're not here to be alone. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be tomorrow? I want to be with somebody that loves me as much as I love me, and elevates me. Drop my scale. And I want to love somebody like for who they are. They can meet me on my frequency and wants to elevate and keep growing, and I can learn from them. I want reciprocation. Reciprocal. I can teach them stuff, they can teach me stuff. We put our, superpowers together and we create, a dynamic duo. Even if it's in our little corner of the woods, our little corner of the city, we're doing God's work where we are. You gotta have a relationship with the divine. I don't know. I rambled a lot. I have a lot going on at home. I didn't make a lot of decisions quickly. Some I didn't necessarily want to make, but I had to. Best decisions for the time being. And I'm okay with that, because I know there's a plan. And everything happens for a reason. I just have to trust that what's coming is for my highest good, and for those involved, the highest good. Yeah, the birds. The soul knows no fear. It's conditioning. That's from shit that people did to you from your childhood on. Fear-based mindsets. Victim mindsets that don't leave. We play the same old scenarios over and over. Well, they did this to me. Okay. Stay the victim for the rest of your life. Instead of healing that, overcoming it, and moving on and being happy with somebody else. Could you get your heart broke again? For sure. That's why God made it so it heals. It's very resilient. But you got to do the healing work. You can suppress and suppress and suppress. Someday it's going to come out. And you at least expect it. God gave you feelings for a reason, male or female. If you feel it, you're supposed to feel it. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel angry, take a bat and hit your mattress. Punch a pillow, I don't know. Go for a run. The cost, the price we pay for loving is grief. Whether we're losing somebody out of a breakup, out of a death, whatever it is. Moving away, anything that hurts that we loved. So some people choose to just not love because they don't want to hurt. And they stay in their caves. And they stay on the surface and stay on surface connections with people. And never dive deep. And they'll go through their life never truly feeling alive. And with nobody really knowing who they are. I worked here for 30 years, retired, father of so many, married to such and such a surviving siblings, whatever. The obituary, superficial obituary that they print. Sad to say, but most people have those types of relationships with the closest people to them too. Everything's service level. Did you take the dishes out? The garbage out? Did you do the dishes? Oh, yeah, I did that. It made me angry. Oh, I did. So-and-so did that, and that's sad. How many take the time to swim through the depths with you? Swim through the voids. Go down the rabbit holes. The parts of you that are behind locked doors that nobody gets to open. There are people out there that won't use it against you or hurt you with it. It's healing Find those people. Find your tribe. Plant those seeds on the new moon for real friendships, real romantic relationships, real intimacy. Things that make you feel alive and set your heart on fire. Not things that feel like obligations. Because when you really love somebody and really love doing something, those responsibilities don't feel like a weight, like another obligation. They feel like an honor. There's something that those responsibilities and obligations and tasks and extra things we do for people, they're not burdens. They're blessings. Nobody wants to feel like a burden to somebody. So, people have to choose what they need to choose. What's best for them at the time. And we need to know when it's time to move along. And continue on our path. And maybe someday we'll meet again. And maybe sometimes we don't. But just know that you doing your work for God, Source, Universe, did your part. And it's time for you to keep moving. There's more work to do. And they'll catch up or they won't. Keep being you. Keep being authentic. And don't let anybody ever tell you you ain't beautiful. And that you're unworthy. Or that you're bad. Or you're not worth it. Because you are worth it. You are worthy. You are enough. Even with your flaws and all, just like the rest of us. The difference is you need to seek out the right people that will help you grow. Because you can teach an old dog new tricks. I've seen it. So go, 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 go. Go manifest. Who do you want in your life? What do you want in your life? What are your dreams? How do you want to feel when you go to bed every night? How do you want to feel when you wake up? If there's something that you want to manifest, you have to, pro tip, you have to do it with feeling. Ouch. Yeah. Don't suppress your feelings. If you want it so bad and it rips your heart out, and it brings tears to your eyes, and that's how you manifest. Feeling doors wide open. The universe feels the frequency. If you just do it robotically, it's not the same. This is all about the heart, the chakras, the balance of love. Expressing your needs, wants, and desires through feeling, even if it scares you, even if you're afraid of being vulnerable. What if they hurt me with that vulnerability? You know who you've vetted and who you haven't vetted. Most people, we know who they are. We just ignore the red flags, right? Some people just have a flag that pops up here and there that they're working on. And the red's fading. They just need more time. And then sometimes, still a little, little color left in that flag. But with that leap of faith, when those trusted person, that unconditional love you have for each other, it can be changed to purity and white as snow through your mutual love for each other. We have to heal ourselves do the heavy lifting for the most part, correct? The deep dives, the shadow work, the internal stuff. But we find the right companions, friends, partners. They help us heal the rest of the way. And you help them heal. We all got something to heal. We all need each other. You're the birds. And don't be afraid of failure. If it tried and it failed and didn't work, get up and do it again. But what if? Don't let your fear stop you. You're coming from a place of wisdom and experience. What did you learn from the last relationship or experience when you tried to do something? Look at it. Take the lesson. Ask for other people's trusted one or two few or therapist or healer or whatever. Most of the time you find that people treat you the way they feel about themselves. And a lot of the times, you're paying for the way somebody else treated them that you had nothing to do with. You weren't the one that hurt them. You weren't there when they were 5. You weren't there when they were 15. You weren't there when they were in their 30s. You weren't there when, they were abused as children. You weren't there when they were cheated on. But you trigger something and you stir something in them that reminds them, not that you remind them of those bad things that happened to them, but they remember the closeness and the vulnerability they allowed themselves to be just to get hurt in the end. And so when they look at you and they feel and think all that love, their mind kicks in, which is built to protect them, sends off signals of fear of, hey, you did this before. and you got hurt. I know you love them, but back off. You're going to get hurt again. What if, what if, what if? Oh my God, they asked me a question that triggers how that past person or my mother or my ex-lover asked me that question. You didn't ask it the same way or with the same intent or the same tone. You didn't know you were triggering anything. You just asked something. It was probably a justifiable question. And then the next thing you know, they're yelling at you and screaming and accusing you of things and running away and ghosting you or whatever. They weren't doing that to you. They were doing that to the people who treated them poorly before, that connected to that memories, those memories you triggered that you didn't even know you triggered. I know it still hurts and it affects you, but just know a lot of times people are treating us a certain way as a reflection of their own life experience and their lack of healing. And then sometimes it triggers us out of our lack of healing. And you're like, what did you just say to me? I was being nice. Like, what? You know what I mean? I'm just asking normal questions that people ask. Like, why are you getting all... It's not that big a deal. Why are you making it into one? Like, you don't know what other people have been through. They don't know what you've been through. That's why we need to heal so we don't bleed all over each other. Okay? Yeah. I gotta go. I'm getting chewed. This video's way too long. And I don't even know if I said anything relevant. But I love you. I love you. And thanks for watching and listening. I hope you get something out of this, even if it's just one thing. Love yourself. Heal yourself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. As thyself. Well, what if you don't love yourself? How are you going to love your neighbor? Do the healing work. Go on that healing journey. And find companions that'll walk the path with you. That you could call at 2 a.m. and say, hey, I'm having this thought. Hey, can you meet me here? I just need a friend. There's people out there that are like that will do that for you. Maybe you never had people like that in your life before. Maybe you're surrounded by a lot of toxicity and you think that it's normal. And that when you see somebody different that thinks and walks and talks and feels a different way, is weird or scary because it's different. You love it and it's intriguing, but it's not familiar, so it scares you and you run. But something in your soul keeps wanting to go back to it. You're pulled to it because your higher self knows what's good for you. If you're being called to it and it won't go away and it's still nagging at you, it scares you and it heals you. It excites you and calms you and brings you peace. And soul's telling you to go for it. Don't shut out other people because other people treated you poorly. There are people out there that will not treat you poorly. There are people out there that will have bad days and make mistakes. There's a difference between making mistakes as an accident of, just learning each other and healing their own patterns and triggers, being, yelling at each other or getting angry once in a while versus that's just their personality. That's their core. They're just mean all the time. They yell all the time. They manipulate and lie all the time. You know the difference. Your heart knows the difference. Communication. 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 Presence. 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 Vulnerability. 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 Authenticity. Integrity. Honesty. Spirituality. What kind of qualities do you want in your life? What kind of people do you want in your life? If you have a bunch of people in your life that are aligned with who you are at your core or who you want to be, how are you going to become it? Say you want to become that. So you know you got issues, but you want to become that. How are you going to become that if you keep hanging out in toxicity? And you can let them go, and move on for your own self-growth. And your new soul tribe will come in. Some are knocking at your door right now. And you're not looking. Or you're looking and you're terrified and you're like a deer in the headlights. Have some faith in yourself. The universe does. They wouldn't bring you these gifts, these people, these messages, if they weren't meant for you for a reason. Follow your intuition and follow your heart. The soul knows no fear. The world did that to your body, to your mind, to your nervous system. Your soul knows what it wants. Your soul knows what it needs. It's just confused by your trauma that's locked in your brain. You deserve love. You deserve to be loved. And gosh, the people who want love also fucking love giving love. So if you want love, I know you want to give it just as much as you want to receive it. It makes you feel so good to give love, doesn't it? Set yourself free. Unlock yourself out of your own prison. And live every moment in the now. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. What's that one thing or few things that you would want to do before you had to leave this earth? If you had to leave this earth tomorrow, you only had a day to go do some things. Don't worry about the means. You'd have it. Say, divine, oh, you got the means to get to that person, to go to that place, to whatever it would be. What's that? What are those things that you don't want to live with regrets of? Then don't. Go after it. Do it now. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Well, this isn't ready and that's not ready. Nothing's ever going to be completely ready. Nobody is ever ready. Sometimes you just got to say, what the fuck? Fuck it. and go for what you love and what you desire. And let the chips fall where they may. And it may disrupt some shit for a little bit, but it always settles back down. And people get over it. And you find your new vibe. And you'll be so glad you did. For yourself. Plant those seeds of intention of what you want for your life. It's your life. It's time you started living it. Have a sweet dreams of a night. I'll be thinking of my manifestations. I'll be thinking of those I love. And I'll be thinking about those things that I need to cut out of my life. In order for the right things to come in that are aligned with me, I have to remove the things that are no longer aligned with me, that are taking up my energy and space. Mental space, heart space, physical space. Time to feng shui your life. Okay. Getting to be sundown. I love you again. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. Shout out Led Zeppelin. Good night.